Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to activity 2.8. We are on page 116 over here, page 116. You can see that we have one learning target today. Our learning target says compare and contrast how similar information is presented in different texts. You're going to be comparing and contrasting information that you read today and information that was in the documentary film last class. So you're comparing, you're telling me what's the same, you're contrasting what is different. What's the same between the documentary film and this passage you're going to read that's a newspaper article? What's different about the two? As you're doing today's lesson, you're going to be skimming and scanning, marking the text with your metacognitive markers that are on your desk. You should know what those are. We'll get to that in just a little bit. You're going to be doing close reading. So to start with, we're going to be skimming and scanning. Under before reading, put your finger on number 1 on before reading. It says skim and scan the text features and discuss with a partner what you already know about information in the bold headings. If you're unclear, make a prediction. Remember, text features are the headings, the graphs, the pictures, the references at the bottom. So what do you know about the text features? Discuss that with a shoulder partner after you skim and before you skim and scan. So go ahead and discuss with a partner what you already know about the text features. Okay, next I'm going to have you skim and scan the article. You have page 116, 117, 118, 119, and 120. So you're just going to skim and scan. If you forgot what that is, I'm going to put it up here. Skimming, you are reading text rapidly. You're getting an overall impression to gain a general understanding of the material. Scanning focuses on keywords, phrases, or specific details, and provides speedy recognition of information. So overall, you're getting a quick impression of what the text is about. Okay? So go ahead and skim and scan 116, 117, 118, 119, and 120. Then I want you to make a prediction and write down what you know about text features. So make a prediction. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Okay. So you should have a prediction down. We're going to move on. Okay. During reading, it says, mark the text by stopping, thinking, and writing a response for each chunk of the text in the margin. So when I say chunk, that means every paragraph. You're writing annotations. Annotations are written responses. So you're annotating every paragraph. Okay? So when I say each chunk of text, I am talking about every paragraph you're annotating. So you're going to be using your metacognitive markers. You should know what these are, but you're connecting to the text, to self, to your world. You're questioning. Any kind of questions, you're marking a question mark next to it, like I wonder or why did. You can visualize, you can draw a picture or a symbol. Pay attention to new learning, like wow, cool, no way. You're going to be putting an exclamation point next to those. The metacognitive markers are also on your desk. You are going to be summarizing each section in a sentence or two. So on this whole thing is your metacognitive markers. You're also going to be, remember, circling words that you don't know and defining them, underlining key ideas and details, questioning any kind of questions you have, reactions like wow, or an asterisk for comments. You're using all of these metacognitive markers as you read. All right. So again, here's the key for your metacognitive markers. They're also on your desk. So make sure you're using those. Number 3 says, underline or draw arrows to any portion of text that specifically supports your personal response. So as you're reading, just underline or draw arrows to any portion that you see that specifically supports your personal response. Here's the news article. It's called Marketing to Kids Gets More Savvy with New Technologies. Notice we have this little number 1 next to savvy, and it's in your book, but it doesn't have the squares. It says savvy, and then savvy's at the bottom of your page on 116. So on 116 at the bottom you have a definition, and it says shrewd or knowledgeable. So marketing to kids gets kids more shrewd or knowledgeable with new technologies. They're getting more knowledgeable. All right, here's the article. As you read the article, please make sure that you are answering the questions on the left. So we do have questions number 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you could please number those in your book. On page 116, your first quiz question on the left side of the page, it's under Key Ideas and Details. Please number it number 1. It says, explain how technology is helping advertisers reach more kids. Okay. Question number 2, please number it. It's on page 117. How do the opinions of kids and parents differ about the influence of ads within a website? Okay, on 118 we have number 3. It says this article presents a cause and effect relationship between what two things? And number 4 on page 119 on the side under Key Ideas and Details. What is meant by the phrase think like a mom, see like a kid? Those are the quiz questions. So they're in under the My Notes section on the margin on 116, 117, 118, 119. Make sure you have all 4 done. The article, you're using your metacognitive markers. You're also chunking the text and annotating, so you're basically summarizing each little chunk. And then underline or draw any arrows to portions of the text that specifically support your personal response. Okay, so here's the article. My online version does allow for a out loud reading, so I am going to read 116 with you, and then you are going to read 117, 118, and 119 with a partner. All right, here we go. So we are reading paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Marketing to kids gets more savvy with new technologies. Isabella Sweet doesn't wear a target on her chest, but kid marketers covet this 9-year-old as if she does. Perhaps it's because she's a techie. The 4th grader from Davis, California spends almost an hour a day on the Webkinz website. The site charms kids by linking Webkinz plush animals, of which she owns 18, with online games that encourage kids to earn and spend virtual money, so they can create elaborate rooms for virtual versions of their Webkinz pets.
Please mark the text with your metacognitive markers. Please mark paragraphs 1 and 2. Okay, so paragraph 1, I should see some things marked in here. Remember, you are marking the text, so you're circling words you don't know, underlining key ideas and details, putting a question mark with a question where you're confused, a reaction, a wow or an aha, or an asterisk for a comment. You can also draw picture representations if you would like. You can underline and draw arrows to any portion of the text that specifically supports your personal response. And the last piece is you are going to summarize right in the margin here what these 2 paragraphs were about. So please summarize what these 2 paragraphs were about. Talk with your shoulder partner, come up with a summary. Okay, so next we are going to move on to paragraph 3. Here we go. We're right here, paragraph 3 and 4.
The site does one more thing. It posts ads that reward kids with virtual currency when they click. Every time a kid clicks on an ad, there's a virtual ka-ching at the other end for GANs, which owns Webkinz. At issue, with the use of new kid enchanting technologies, are savvy marketers gaining the upper hand on parents? Are toy marketers such as GANs, food marketers such as McDonald's, and kid-coddling apparel retailers such as 77 Kids by American Eagle too eager to target kids? At stake, 1.12 trillion.
Okay, please mark the text. So all of 116 should be marked using metacognitive markers, and you're summarizing each chunk, so about every 2 paragraphs you should have a summary there. Make sure you answer the question on the left on page 116. We just read 116, and the question is, for this page, explain how technology is helping advertisers reach more kids. Go ahead and fill that out. Please answer number 1 and mark the text. 1 minute. My goodness. Okay. So you have 116 done, you have the question done. Now you are going to be responsible for reading the rest of the reading with your shoulder partner. So person on the left, raise your hand. Person on the left, you are going to read page 117. Person on the right, raise your hand. You are going to read page 118. Person on the left, raise your hand. You're reading 119. And then person on the right, raise your hand. You're reading page 120. So you're alternating the pages. As you're reading with your shoulder partner, please make sure you're answering the questions in the margin